There comes a time in the life of a woman when she must look into the mirror, not to fix her face, but to confront her soul. A time when the noise of the world fades, and the voice within her begins to rise. That voice, often silenced by fear, shaped by culture, or hidden behind sacrifice, whispers one question: who are you becoming? The world does not change by accident. It changes through women who rise with intention, who choose growth over comfort, who plant seeds of discipline in the soil of every new morning. If you are hearing this, then understand this message found you because something in you refuses to settle. Something in you is searching for the next level. And today, I will give you 10 simple, powerful things you must improve every single day. These are not tasks, they are tools. They are not burdens, they are blessings. They are not about perfection, they are about progress. Stay with me to the end, because what I will share may very well be the difference between living by design or merely by default. 1. Improve your discipline. Discipline is the foundation of destiny. Without it, dreams remain distant. With it, mountains move. Wake up with intention. Create structure in your chaos. A free woman is not one who does anything she wants, but one who trains herself to do what is right, even when it's hard. 2. Improve your self-worth. You are not defined by your past, nor confined by your present. The way you speak to yourself shapes your future. Stand tall. Not in arrogance, but in awareness. A woman who knows her value will never beg for it from others. She becomes a standard, not a shadow. 3. Improve your mind. Your mind is your most sacred battlefield. Read every day. Question what you've been told. Challenge what you've accepted. Ignorance is a silent enemy. It robs quietly and it kills slowly. Educate yourself, because when your mind grows, everything else must follow. 4. Improve your patience. Not all things come quickly, and not all delays are denials. Learn to wait with grace. Rushing can ruin what only time can ripen. Patience is strength disguised as stillness, and when you master it, you become unshakable. 5. Improve your emotional control. Emotions are real, but they must not rule. Feel deeply, yes, but do not let temporary storms destroy permanent bridges. A woman who can lead herself emotionally becomes a woman who can lead nations. 6. Improve your relationships. Who you walk with will determine how far you rise. Surround yourself with people who feed your fire, not your fears. Learn to love without losing yourself. Learn to let go without bitterness. The wrong people shrink your spirit, the right ones expand it. 7. Improve your communication. Words are power. Use them to heal, not harm. Speak with clarity. Listen with empathy. Know when silence is more powerful than speech. A woman who masters her tongue commands respect, even in silence. 8. Improve your health. This body carries your purpose. Nourish it, move it, rest it. Health is not about perfection. It's about stewardship. When your body is weary, your purpose will suffer. Care for it like the treasure it is. 9. Improve your courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move despite it. Speak the truth when your voice shakes. Stand for justice when it costs you. Do what's right, even when it's lonely. History does not remember those who played it safe. It remembers those who dared. 10. Improve your purpose. Purpose is not a destination. It's a decision you make daily. Remind yourself why you wake up. Refocus. Recommit. Because when purpose becomes blurry, distractions become louder. But when your why is strong, your how becomes unstoppable. You do not rise by chance. You rise by choice. Every day, you are writing your legacy, not just in the big moments, but in the small decisions. So improve a little each day. Speak life into your soul. Train your habits. Feed your mind. Love yourself and others with wisdom. And most importantly, never stop becoming who you were created to be. Because when one woman improves herself daily, the world around her cannot remain the same. Now rise and become her. Discipline is not a prison, it is the path to freedom. It is the difference between desire and destiny, between potential and power. A woman who lacks discipline may be full of dreams, yet she will remain a prisoner to distraction, procrastination, and the emotions of the moment. But the woman who cultivates discipline is a woman who refuses to be mastered by anything except her own vision. Discipline is the daily decision to do what must be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. It is rising early, not because the world demands it, but because your purpose does. It is saying no, not because the temptation is weak, but because your spirit is strong. It is keeping your word to yourself, your promises, your goals, your plans, because the integrity of your own voice must matter more than the approval of others. You see, discipline is not about control, it is about direction. It gives your life a steady course when the world around you is unstable. It sharpens your focus when distractions call for your attention. It teaches your body to follow your spirit and not the other way around. The disciplined woman builds her days with intention. She knows that time is not a toy. She does not waste the morning, for she understands that how she starts her day often shapes how she ends it. She does not live waiting for motivation. She lives by commitment. Because she understands that motivation comes and goes like the wind, but discipline is the root beneath the ground. It holds firm when the storm rages. There is something noble about a woman who can govern herself. A woman who does not need external rewards to do the right thing. A woman who shows up not for applause, but because excellence is her standard. Her yes means yes, and her no is a fortress. She does not chase every opportunity, she chooses the right ones. She does not follow the crowd, she walks her path. Because she has trained herself to endure discomfort, to resist ease, to embrace the weight of growth, and this makes her dangerous in the best way. Dangerous to fear, dangerous to mediocrity, dangerous to anything that dares to keep her small. Discipline is not loud, it is quiet, it is in the routine, it is in the refusal to quit, it is in the small choices when no one is watching, and slowly, day by day, it builds the character of a woman who can be trusted, with responsibility, with vision, with leadership. She becomes consistent, and consistency is the currency of greatness. A woman may have talent, she may have charm, but it is discipline that gives her lasting influence, because what she builds with her habits will last longer than what she builds with her hands. Self-worth is not something the world gives you. It is something you must awaken within yourself. It is not measured by applause, attention, or approval. It is found in the quiet conviction that you are enough, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. A woman must not wait for someone to tell her she is worthy. She must believe it before the world reflects it back to her. For far too long, society has taught women to seek their value in titles, in looks, in relationships, and in things that fade. But none of those things define you. You are not valuable because you are loved by others. You are valuable because you were born with purpose, wrapped in destiny, and placed on this earth with something eternal inside you. A woman who improves her self-worth each day begins to walk differently. She no longer begs for seats at tables where she was never meant to sit. She builds her own. She no longer remains in places that hurt her just to prove she can endure pain. She no longer dresses her wounds as if they are ornaments of pride. She begins to heal, not to look strong for others, but to finally be whole for herself. And that healing begins when she looks in the mirror and stops repeating the lies she's been told. Lies that say she's too loud, too soft, too much, or not enough. When a woman values herself, her standards rise, not out of arrogance, but from understanding. She understands that she was not made to be misused. She understands that boundaries are not selfish, they are sacred. She understands that she cannot pour from an empty cup, and so she no longer apologizes for resting, for saying no, or for protecting her peace. And when others try to devalue her, she no longer lowers herself to match their misunderstanding. She simply walks forward, because a woman who knows her worth does not argue with anyone who doubts it. Improving your self-worth is a daily act of remembrance. It is remembering that you are not defined by your past. It is remembering that your failures do not make you a failure. It is remembering that comparison is a thief that must not be welcome into your thoughts. It is remembering that no one can replace what you carry, because your voice, your gifts, your presence are uniquely yours. And when you forget, you return to that truth, again and again, like a well that never runs dry. You are not here to shrink. You are not here to survive. You are here to stand, to rise with grace, to lead with strength, and to live with the unshakable belief that your existence matters. That is the power of a woman who improves her self-worth. And when she walks in that truth, the world cannot remain the same. The mind is the gate through which everything in your life must pass. If the gate is open to truth, you grow. If it is left unguarded, you are shaped by lies. If it is closed to learning, your potential is imprisoned. A woman who does not daily invest in the growth of her mind will eventually find herself surviving rather than living. And in a world that often underestimates her, distracts her, and dares her to be silent, the most powerful thing a woman can do is educate herself, not for degrees, not for applause, but for freedom. Improving your mind is not simply about intelligence. It is about elevation. The way you think determines the way you live. If your thoughts are small, your life shrinks. If your thoughts are heavy with doubt, you walk with chains. But if your thoughts are courageous, your steps become bold. What you allow to live in your mind eventually finds a way into your decisions, your relationships, and your future. That is why you must feed your mind like a garden and never leave it to grow wild. Every book you read, every conversation you entertain, every belief you accept, these are the seeds, and you must ask yourself, what are they producing in me? You do not need to read everything. You need to read what awakens something in you. Read things that challenge your views. Read things that stretch your thinking. Read stories of strength, ideas that ignite, and wisdom that has survived generations. A woman who reads cannot be easily deceived, because her thoughts are rooted. A woman who questions what she's been taught becomes dangerous, because she cannot be controlled by traditions that limit her. Her mind becomes a tool of liberation, not a cage of fear. But books alone are not enough. You must also reflect. You must think deeply. You must not fear the silence in your own head. Many avoid growth because they avoid stillness. They fill their minds with noise, scrolling, watching, reacting, never realizing that a distracted mind cannot be a wise one. You must create space to think, to analyze, to understand, because when your mind is still, your vision becomes clear. You begin to see not just what is, but what could be. There is something unshakable about a woman who trains her mind. Her speech becomes thoughtful, her choices become intentional. She no longer falls for every opinion, nor is she shaken by every criticism. She does not waste time on gossip or foolish debates. Her mind is on mission, and her focus is her power. And when people encounter her, they may not always agree with her, but they will always respect her, because a sharpened mind demands it. You must improve your mind not just for yourself, but for those who will one day follow your example. For when a woman elevates her thinking, generations after her begin to rise. Patience is not weakness, it is strength dressed in silence. It is the deep breath when the world demands reaction. It is the steady step when others are running in circles. A woman who improves her patience each day becomes a woman who cannot be moved by pressure nor persuaded by panic. She learns the art of waiting, not with fear, but with faith. For not everything that is slow is broken. Some of the most beautiful things in life take time to rise. A tree does not rush to grow, yet it stands taller than all. A diamond is not born in a moment, yet it outlasts many. And so it is with a woman becoming who she was born to be. We live in a world that chases speed. Fast results, quick answers, immediate gratification. But the woman who builds her life on patience understands that speed can be shallow. What comes quickly often leaves quietly. What grows too fast may not have deep roots. She knows that lasting things, peace, wisdom, character, love, take time. She is not afraid to wait. Not because she enjoys delay, but because she trusts the process more than the pressure. While others settle, she surrenders. While others chase noise, she chooses timing. And this makes her rare. Patience teaches a woman how to endure seasons. Not every season is meant to bloom. Some seasons are meant to dig, to learn, to cry, and to break free from what was never meant to stay. And yet, it is only patience that allows her to see the value in the unseen, to believe in the harvest while still sowing in tears. A woman without patience will often quit just before the breakthrough. She will walk away from what needed just a little more time. But a patient woman endures with grace. She doesn't force the door to open. She prepares herself until the right one does. Patience also teaches restraint, the ability to remain still when anger invites you to explode, the ability to speak softly when emotions rise like fire. It teaches her not to rush into decisions that don't align with her destiny. It protects her from becoming a prisoner of her impulses. Because patience is not just waiting, it's how you wait. Some wait with bitterness, others with quiet strength. Some wait and complain, others wait and grow. A patient woman learns to grow in her waiting. She reads, she listens, she matures, she forgives, she observes. And when the right moment comes, she is not just ready, she is prepared. In patience she finds power, power over the urge to control, power over the fear of being forgotten, power over the pressure to prove herself. And when others wonder how she walks with such peace, how she carries storms with such calm, they do not see that her strength was forged in waiting. For patience is the quiet confidence that what is meant for her will never miss her, and what misses her was never meant to stay. Confidence is not arrogance. It is not loud, nor does it demand attention. True confidence is calm. It is steady. It is the quiet knowing that you belong, not because someone allowed you in, but because you have already claimed your space within yourself. A woman who improves her confidence every day is a woman who rises each morning not searching for permission, but walking in purpose. She is not perfect, she is not fearless, but she is willing, and that is what separates her from those who never begin. Confidence does not come from titles, it does not come from how many people clap when you speak. It comes from knowing who you are when no one is watching. It comes from facing failure without calling yourself a failure. It comes from standing tall in rooms where no one looks like you and still holding your head high. It is not built in one moment, it is built over time, through trials, through rejection, through courage repeated again and again. You become confident by choosing to show up, especially on the days when insecurity tells you to sit down. A woman with confidence does not need to shrink to make others feel comfortable. She does not dim her light to be accepted by those who fear its brightness. She does not pretend to be less intelligent, less capable, or less passionate, simply to fit into a mold that was never designed for her growth. Instead, she stands in her truth. She embraces her uniqueness. She allows her presence to speak, even when her voice is silent. And slowly the world begins to adjust to her boldness. Improving your confidence also means improving your inner dialogue. You must pay attention to how you speak to yourself. Do not become your own enemy. Do not sabotage your own spirit with words of doubt. You must become your own encourager, your own cheerleader, your own reminder of how far you've come. Speak life into yourself. Walk like you carry something the world needs, because you do. There are people waiting on the other side of your courage. And every time you rise, you give others permission to rise with you. A confident woman does not pretend to know everything. She asks questions. She learns. She evolves. She knows that confidence is not about having all the answers. It is about trusting yourself enough to find them. She is not afraid to fail in front of others. She is afraid of never trying. She understands that her confidence is a shield in storms and a compass in confusion, and that confidence once strengthened becomes contagious. Confidence is not about walking into a room and believing you're better than anyone there. It is walking into the room and not needing to compare yourself to anyone at all. That kind of confidence is not inherited. It is built. And every woman has the power to build it. One choice, one challenge, one courageous step at a time. There is a quiet power in the woman who has learned to rule her spirit, not with suppression but with wisdom, not by pretending she feels nothing, but by refusing to be mastered by everything she feels. To improve your emotional control is not to deny that you are human. It is to embrace that your emotions are messengers, not masters. They may knock on the door of your heart, but you decide which ones you let stay. A woman who daily grows in emotional control becomes unshakable. She may feel the storm, but she does not become it. She may be hurt, but she does not let the pain speak for her. She learns to respond rather than react. This growth does not come overnight. It comes with practice. It comes when you feel anger rise, and you choose silence instead of sharpness. It comes when tears well up in public places, and you breathe through the ache until you are safe to release them. It comes when someone disappoints you, and you refuse to let their carelessness rob you of your peace. Every time you pause, every time you reflect before speaking, every time you walk away from chaos instead of feeding it, you gain strength. Not the kind of strength that the world claps for, but the kind that holds kingdoms together inside of you. A woman without emotional control is easily manipulated. Her peace is held hostage by the behavior of others. One careless word can ruin her day. One betrayal can break her for years. But the woman who is mastering her emotions learns the art of separation. She separates who she is from what has happened to her. She learns that her identity is not defined by who hurt her, what they said, or how they treated her. And from this knowledge she becomes dangerous to anything that once controlled her. Improving emotional control also means giving yourself permission to feel without letting those feelings lead your life. You acknowledge the sadness, the frustration, the confusion. You sit with them, but you do not let them build a home in you. You let them pass, like clouds, like weather. You begin to understand that emotions are real, but they are not always right. And wisdom is found in discernment, knowing which emotions to follow and which to observe from a distance. There is a calm authority in the woman who chooses peace when conflict offers her war, who chooses truth when gossip invites her in, who chooses to rise above rather than sink into reaction. That woman begins to walk through life with clarity. Her presence becomes grounding, her energy becomes safe. Her leadership becomes respected, not just because of what she says, but because of the strength she carries in silence. To master your emotions is to protect your future. And the woman who learns this will never again hand her power to what was never meant to rule her. My sisters, you are not born to simply survive each day. You were born to rise through it. Every woman has within her the power to transform not only her own life, but the lives of all who are touched by her presence. The path to greatness is not walked in one leap, but in daily decisions, silent victories that the world may never applaud, but heaven always sees. To improve your mind is to free yourself from ignorance. To improve your patience is to stand unbroken through seasons of delay. To improve your confidence is to walk boldly where fear once stood. And to improve your emotional control is to protect the throne of your peace from every thief that would try to steal it. These are not suggestions, they are necessary tools for a woman who wants to walk in purpose, lead with clarity, love with wisdom, and live with dignity. Do not wait for the world to change before you decide to grow. The woman who improves herself each day becomes the very change that the world needs. Whether you are young or old, broken or healing, hidden or seen, your improvement is your power, and your power, when refined through discipline and grace, becomes unstoppable. So rise each day with this commitment: I will not waste my growth. I will not betray my potential. I will improve, because every day is another chance to become the woman I was always meant to be. And when that day comes, when you look in the mirror and see strength where there was once doubt, peace where there was once chaos, purpose where there was once confusion, you will know you did not wait for someone to save you. You decided to save yourself by growing, and in that quiet revolution, you became free. That, my dear sisters, is the mark of a truly powerful woman.